Good morning and welcome to another Saturday morning bike ride. As you can see, the scenery has changed again for today because we've relocated. And today we're riding the Thames Valley Parkway in London, Ontario. This trail is one of my bucket list rides. And today we're trying to do it end to end. It shouldn't be too hard. The entire trail network is 41 kilometers. We're targeting a 70-minute bike ride this morning for our main ride for the week. So the section we're going to do, we need about 23 kilometers to get that done based on last week's ride. So we should be able to get that in on the segment of the trail here that we're going to ride today. I used to live in London 4 or 5 years ago, back when I was at my heaviest weight, and this was the bike trail that I'd always wanted to ride while I was here, but I was never able to do it. So I'm really looking forward to this ride today. The temperatures are much cooler today than what we've been used to over the last few weeks. Partly because that giant heat wave has passed through, and partly because we're a lot further north now than we have been since this journey started. So the last week of training went pretty well. The last video I did was on the Virginia Capitol Trail, and I had a 10-minute brick run after. That brick run was a challenge, especially after that long ride that we had. But I did get through it, but the next day my oblique started to hurt something awful. Couldn't sleep right that night. So that's the first strain that I've experienced since starting that journey. And we're a week out from that, and they're a little tight still, but I'm managing okay. There's a 25-minute brick run after this ride. I'm a little apprehensive about it, but I think we'll just be careful and we should be okay. But aside from that brick run, the runs last week went really well. I was actually surprised at the progress. I did my interval run, I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. It was right in the middle of that big heat wave. It was warm. The temperatures were in the hundreds of degrees. But I was able to maintain the race pace that it asked for throughout the entirety of that run, so I was pretty happy with that. Yesterday was my main run for this week, and the app called for a 15-minute run, so just less than an hour. And my goal was to go out and see if I could do 5K, because I knew if I maintained the pace I wanted, 9:30 a kilometer, for 50 minutes I should be able to hit 5K. And that's something I've never been able to do before. So I tackled that yesterday on the road outside the RV park we're staying at. And wouldn't you know it, I pulled it off. 5 kilometers, 48 minutes and 10 seconds, average pace of 9:44 a kilometer. I know that's not very fast, and I know as coach would say, you're not jogging, you're just walking fast. But you know what? I did the entire 5K without having to stop on the pace that I wanted, so I'm pretty happy with that. Coach is tough on me, but she knows I need it. Grateful to have her. The interval bike ride this week also went well. We did it in Delaware. We had a big move day, but it was good. It was hot, but it was a short ride. 35 minutes, I think 12 kilometers. Maybe I can flash the stats up on the screen. All in all, a pretty successful training week. I'm feeling good about the triathlon, which is 2 weeks from today. We've got 14 days to go, and then we'll see if all this training is paid off when we get to Bracebridge. I did not get a swim in this week though. That was the only negative of the week. Despite the successes was the fact that I could not get to a pool and I could not get to open water. But like I've said before, that's the nature of dealing with full-time life on the road and triathlon training. Sometimes I have to make adjustments. So I replaced the first swim week with an indoor workout session. I haven't done that yet since I started my triathlon training, but the friends that we were staying with have a small home gym in their basement. So I was able to get in a solid 45 minutes of cardio on the stationary bike, the elliptical machine, and the treadmill. So we're still keeping the activity streak constant. I think today's day, I should have checked before I started, I think it's 43. This ride was supposed to happen yesterday, the Saturday. Today is Sunday, but I swapped my run and my bike this week just because of work and family commitments. It's important to stay flexible with your training. That's what I've discovered so far. And I can't be too hard on myself when I have to modify something, or if I have to shuffle something around, or even if I have to skip something. I know the training for the triathlon is important and I want to do well, but at the same time, we have lives to live and we have demands on our time. So we've got to be flexible. We've got to give ourselves the grace to be able to make the changes that we need to keep everything on track. So all in all, despite the changes last week and the shuffling and the adjusted workouts, really happy with the progress that I'm making so far. I had another big travel day this week that I trained on. I remember when I did last week's training video, I talked about travel days. I said sometimes you drive 4 to 5 hours, set up your house, and you still got to train. This week was a bit different. It was a 13-hour travel day. And we try to not do those very often. A 13-hour day towing an RV is an exhausting day, but we had places to be, and sometimes you got to get it done. We left Delaware at 6 a.m. We drove across Pennsylvania, New York, crossed into Canada, into Ontario, drove 3 hours to the RV park we're at now. Rolled in about 7 p.m. I left the family to do most of the setup after we got parked and leveled. Grabbed my bike off the back of the rig and went and did my interval bike train. It went well. I was able to push fairly hard despite the long day. There's a whole family of bunnies. Hi, bunnies. Well, it is construction season here in Canada, which always adds a little bit of a twist to everything. This may be the last feature-length bike ride with this particular bike. I think I hinted at that in a previous video, but it's had a bit of a rough life. It's suffering from some neglect. And it's not that it's a bad bike. It's a hybrid. It's a giant Roam. It's been a good bike. I think I said I bought it during COVID, just try to get out and get a bit of exercise when there was not much else to do. But that was also when I was at my heaviest weight of 385 pounds. And I just couldn't handle the weight on the seat, and everything was closed. I couldn't get the bike tuned up or fit. So I basically kind of stopped riding it. And then we dragged it out to the East Coast with us when we moved out there. Then when we bought the RV, the camper, we strapped it to the back of the camper. And I used it to ride around RV parks, you know, now and again with the kid. But it did spend the better part of 2 years just hanging off a bike rack on the back of our RV. And it never really got used, and it got quite neglected. But finally back in the spring, I'm like, you know what, I want to start doing this triathlon thing. I have a bike, let's see what we can do. Took it into a great local bike shop in Claremont. They did a wonderful tune-up on it. You know, the first rule of your first triathlon is just ride whatever you have. I was going to do that, but I want to make some adjustments and some upgrades, and I just don't want to put the money into this bike. So I ordered a new one, an aluminum endurance bike. I hope to pick it up next week, because even if the triathlon thing doesn't work out for me, I love cycling, and I'm loving it more and more every day that I do it. So it's something I'm going to continue to do. So I don't mind at all making a little bit of an investment into that. And this bike will stay in the family. My wife wants it. She's also very tall, so this bike will be an okay fit for her. Just riding around the RV park with the kids and stuff. But it's been a good solid bike, and except for that broken spoke from a week or so ago, I haven't had any serious problems with it. Just with my weight, I've asked a lot from it, and I've neglected it. So it's my own fault. The Giant makes a good bike, and the Roam is fantastic. And the trail is going to get busier the further west we get. So coming into Greenway Park now, the playground up here. And as you ride by, that's probably where we're going to see Coach. And the rest of the family, that's where they went to wait. Weave through some traffic here. The turnaround back there for a 10K, so I imagine this is a marathon, so we're going to have to be super careful. This is Greenbank Park. This is supposed to be my hiccup point when I'm done the ride. Let's see if we can see Coach. Might not be here yet. Nope, there's the truck. They're here somewhere. They're right over there on the playground. Let's give him a little wave. I heard Coach yell daddy in the background. All right. Doing good. Trail's super busy, so there might not be a whole lot of commentary. I'm really focused on not running over anybody. Passing by Storybook Gardens here on the left. Was one of our kids' favorite places growing up. Little storybook theme park for the kids. Little train ride, exhibits. I think there's some animals in there. They always enjoyed it. And up ahead is Springbank Park. I feel like we're nearing the end. It's been a while since I've been here. This is the end of the trail as I remember it. This turnaround. There's a map right there. Okay, so we're 57 minutes into the ride. 16.8 kilometers. We're a lot further into the ride than I thought we were time-wise, but not as far as I want it to be distance-wise. But I think if we ride back to Greenbank Park, we'll be a little bit long. We'll be in good shape time-wise, so let's get back on the road. I've enjoyed every minute of this ride so far. It was nice to be able to do it east to west, end to end, and then some. It's a sure sign of progress. But we'll have to wait and see how the 25-minute brick run goes after this. This is actually the pavilion where they're running the marathon out of today. And we'll get some views as we go by.
Take that turn right there, keep running till you get underneath the arch. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Good morning. It's a great event. Everybody's having a good time. I like it. Quick update. The watch just beeped at me. It's the end of the ride. At least as far as it's concerned. What does it know? It just gave me a 0% execution score name. Mostly because it tracks FTP. And if I remember my motto, I'm too fat to care about FTP. I just want to ride the bike. All right, we're rolling into the park. Anybody let me know if they see Coach? Good job, Coach.
Which way are we going?
We'll go that way. Watch the biker.
Maybe run back around there. Shada. This way. I'm going back.
So I just got back from the brick run. It wasn't too bad. I think the obliques are going to be sore tomorrow. I was about 30 seconds off my pace for the run out, the first 10 minutes. And then I found myself actually walking on the way back, which was kind of nice, but I wanted to match pace with the watch. And that's what I use for an excuse in my cool down phase for my jogs, I guess, because it's so slow. I can usually walk that fast. So I give myself a little bit of a break. And don't tell Coach this, but while I was jogging on the run out, some dude who was walking passed me. So maybe she's right that it's not a jog, it's just a fast walk. But you know what? I still don't care. A jog is a jog. So that's another Saturday main session in the books. 70-minute bike ride, 25-minute jog walk at the end. We're in really good shape for the triathlon in 14 days. We'll see you next week.